Welcome everybody to the action from the Kashima Soccer Stadium, where the current J1 leaders Kashima Antlers take on a Machida Zelvia side, just 5 points and 6 places behind them, going into Matchweek 14 of the J.League season. Well, both clubs come into the game off the back of midweek wins, with the Antlers having rediscovered their form to return to the summit. They've put together 3 successive victories now, having lost the previous 3 to get back on track in their pursuit of a record-extending 9th league title and a first since 2016. There is a real contrast in the histories of these two clubs. Kashima Antlers, the most decorated in the country, 19 domestic trophies in total, whilst Machida Zelvia contest only their second ever top-flight season. And yet, when they last met at the end of the last one back in December, it was Machida who still harboured hopes of the title. A 3-1 defeat here ended those aspirations, as Kashima finished just 1 point and 2 places behind them. And there hasn't been too much between them over the first 2.5 months of this new season, as both try to position themselves amongst the pace setters again. 200 J1 appearances brought up just a game ago by Kento Misao. He made his first start of the season in midweek and keeps his place in the Antlers midfield today. With more away wins though in J1 this season, and Machida Zelvia, 5 of their 6 victories so far in 2025 have come on their travels, including at Cerezo Osaka on Tuesday, a result which ended their own 3-match losing run in the division. It's a campaign in which no one yet has been able to pull clear of the pack, with just 7 points separating the top 12 teams right now. The stage here is almost set in the sunshine. What could be a significant showdown between 2 teams with aspirations at the top. There is just the one change to a winning team for Kashima Antlers, the only alteration to the 11 that began the 3-0 win at Yokohama FC on Tuesday comes in midfield, where the experienced Gaku Shibasaki makes an immediate return to the side, having been given a breather on the bench in midweek. He replaces Yu Funabashi, who reverts to his role in reserve. Kento Misao keeps his place, having made a first league start of the season. Yuma Suzuki scored his first goal in 9 J1 games in the win over Yokohama and leads the line alongside Kiyosuke Tagawa, who makes a 3rd straight start. But Leo Ciara notably is back on the bench after 3 games out through injury. Takafumi Mikoriya is today's referee. He's a former professional player who started his career at Vanfore Kofu. He took charge of the Super Cup at the start of the season, now in his 4th year refereeing in the top flight. Yuda Yamamoto heads up the VAR team for this one. Machida also come into the game off the back of a win on Tuesday, and they make 2 changes from that 2-1 success at Cerezo Osaka, both of those coming in the front 3. After 10 substitute appearances this season, there's the first ever J1 start for Kanji Kuwayama, who takes the place of Mitchell Duke up top. As Keio Sento comes in ahead of Shuto Fujio, who, like Duke, drops to the bench today. Sento makes his 50th appearance for the club. O.C. Hun also has to settle for a spot as a sub, despite coming on at half-time to score the opener 4 minutes later at Cerezo in midweek, his first of the season. First campaign in charge for Toru Aniki, so successful with 10 trophies in 8 years with Kawasaki Frontale. And Go Kuroda's story is well known, stepping up from his long-standing role as a high school coach to take Machida to 3rd place in the table last season in their first ever year in the top flight, and they harbour hopes of at least matching that this time around. The Champions League commitments to come later in the year as a result of last season's success. They were beaten by Kashima Antlers on the final day. There ended up being just 1 point between these clubs over the course of 2024. both very much amongst the leading protagonists again so far this year, although over half the league really could be classed in that category. All set for the start in the sunshine then. Machida Zelvia in their change colours in the white get the action underway against the current league leaders, the home side here, Kashima Antlers. So impressive for so long in front of their own fans. They went unbeaten at home throughout the entirety of last season, which is why the recent loss here by the odd goal in 7 to Kyoto Sanga came as such a surprise. They did respond by winning the last home game against Nagoya Grampus, factoring in a pretty comfortable 3-0 success at Yokohama in midweek. It is 3 straight wins on the back of 3 consecutive defeats. Patchy form for most so far this season. It is shaping up to be a fascinating campaign. Early free kick for those in white, for which Machida will commit plenty forward, lurking with intent on the edge of the penalty area here. Some early defending to do for the division's top scorers. 22 goals scored for Kashima Antlers through their first 13 games of the season, but they have everybody back at the moment. Now does the referee's whistle go, and it's taken short and square instead by Hiroyuki Mai. Didn't quite work as intended. Araki. Chase on is for Chavric. Saitane, it came quite a long way out of his goal to make sure that he reached that first. Chavric with a couple of goals in his last 3 games. A permanent member of this squad, having joined for last year on loan from Slovan Bratislava. Koki Anzai with the throw. The ever-presence in this side this season. 3 of the back 4 and the goalkeeper have all started every game. Along with Yuma Suzuki, he's the other player in that situation. One of those who will set off in pursuit of this. It was too long for him, too long for Takawa. Gathered up by Tani. He's also a loanee last year with Machida from Gamba Osaka before making that switch permanent. Goalkeeper capped a couple of times now by Japan. Clean sheet so far this season. Antlers have shut out the opposition on 5 occasions thus far, including the last 2. They really have tightened up defensively. Those wins against Yokohama and Nagoya Grampus. And they needed to, after that 4-3 defeat here to Kyoto Sanga. Held up by Kuwayama, what a day for him. First season out of university, 10 appearances off the bench before today. He starts a J1 game for the very first time. Signed a 2.5-year contract with the club in February. Was actually left unused on the bench in midweek, having come on as a substitute in the previous 9 games in a row. Starts ahead of Mitchell Duke today. Kuroda making changes in attack. Suzuki couldn't quite make that one stick. Side doing well to wrestle back possession, guide it back to Hayakawa in goal. Gawa to Anzai. An experienced fullback in his 5th season of his 2nd spell at the club. To link with Ryotaro Araki ahead of him down that left-hand side. Understanding could be important today. Ueda. Touch in there for Misao. Sukui coming under pressure. Tagawa. Making his third straight start. He had to be patient for his opportunity, having arrived from Hearts in Scotland last summer. Back into the team in the last home game against Nagoya Grampus. That was his first start in J1 since October of 2021. And he's kept his spot since, despite the fact they do have Leo Ciara back in the matchday squad today, the division's joint 8-goal top scorer. And that's despite missing their last 3 matches. Here is Mochizuki, able to get the better of Ansai, who's helped out by Hayakawa. Drezovic getting a touch to that. The centre-back who opened his goal-scoring account for the season with their second at Cerezo Osaka. 2-0 up at the time, going into the last dozen minutes. Did concede 6 minutes into stoppage time, but there wasn't enough time for Cerezo to undo the damage. All of the goals in the games involving these two clubs in midweek came in the second half, but this has been a fairly lively start to this afternoon's action. And Yuki Soma goes down. He's the most familiar figure in that front three at the moment. Corona making those 2 changes alongside him. Soma is starting our 21st consecutive game in this division, going back to last season. Sento, he's able to deliver the cross for the club for the 50th time today in his second season, since he joined from Kashiwa Reysol. Doesn't look like he might have found a home. His 6th club in the last 6 years. To Sakui. A little run in that right-back role. He's a centre-back really by trade. Joined the club straight from high school. The opening in the first 11 has come on the right of that defence, and he certainly seems to have seized his chance. The injury absence at the moment of Ryuta Koike, his first choice at the start of the season. Still missing Yuta Higuchi and Shumaroka today as well, our Kashima Antlers, but getting Leo Ciara back, available on the bench again, is a boost. Since recent return as well means at least some of their injury issues have been easing over the course of the last couple of weeks or so. Shibasaki, straight back in the side. So that breather on the bench in midweek, gets it back here from Chavric. Had just crept out of play. Sakui only made his senior debut actually in March of last year against Machida Zelvia. These sides met for the very first time in league football. Making a 5th straight start this season. Since, as I mentioned, of Koike. This Sekigawa. Michiweda. So on the touchline, sees Sakui still scrapping for it and winning it well, and finding Tagawa, and this is Suzuki. He will turn into a little bit of space for Koki Ansai. Suzuki gets it back again. Shibasaki to have a hit, blocked almost as soon as it left his boot. miss out. That landmark 200th J1 appearance. A couple of games ago, 202 today. Soma going down off the ball as he set off in pursuit of it without getting close to it. 267th appearance for the club in total for Kento Misao. Across two separate spells. Leave for Europe in between. Stints in Santa Clara in Portugal and Leuven in Belgium as well. 7 years now since the last of his 6 caps for Japan. Been too much between them, has there, in the opening 10 minutes or so. Yama looking for options here. It's going to go long. Did get decent distance on that. Wader meeting it though. Chavrich coming under pressure as he tries to hold off Yuki Soma, and he gets the decision. To Soma's frustration. Alexander Chavrich seems to be finding his stride, becoming a key member of this team. In midweek from the penalty spot to put them in front 4 minutes into the second half at Yokohama FC. So scored at Fasciano Okayama in the previous away game as well. Missed the meeting between them at the end of last season with a knee injury. He's making a 4th straight start today. Croatian-born, former Serbian under-21 international, represents Slovakia. Coolly dealt with by Hayakawa. He'll have to do so again. Returned his way by Sekigawa, who has it back. The only match that Kuma Sekigawa missed last season actually was the 1-0 defeat at Machida Zelvia in March of last year. He's played every minute of this season so far. Very familiar, consistent centre-back pairing between he and Wader. As Suzuki goes down and wins the free kick. Dresovic there, who offers the hand of apology. Yuma Suzuki scoring his first goal in 9 games at Yokohama. It was he who doubled their lead midway through the second half on Tuesday. For the 4th of the season in total. Begun the campaign very strongly in front of goal. Here in a promising position, for which the likes of Sekigawa and Wader have been committed forward. In threateningly with that in-swinging delivery. The goalkeeper had started to come. There's a big appeal for a possible penalty as well. Referee Mikuria not impressed by that as those appeals continue. Yuda Yamamoto will be having a look at the VAR. Certainly a little bit of hesitation, it appeared, amongst those in white. Sriatari Araki delivered it. Too much in that. taken too long to check it. And we go with the throw. Sekigawa gathered up by Kosetani. Inadvertent collision with Tagawa. A very innocuous one, an accidental one certainly. Wonderful job that Toru Aniki did with Kawasaki Frontale before making the move to Kashima for this season. The club at which he started his playing career back in 1993, right at the start of the J-League era. They were one of the founding 10 against a team who had never played in the top flight until last season. And for long spells of last season, looked like potentially taking the title. Another injury issue here. This time it is Kuma Sekigawa who is down. Just was talking about that remarkable record of consistency at the back. Damage there done on landing, I think. Came down on the left leg only, which appeared to buckle a little bit when he did so. He's in his 7th senior season with the club that he joined straight out of high school. It's just the one game, as I mentioned, last season, hasn't missed a minute this season. Alongside MEIJI Ueda, who even more remarkably has played every minute of the last 85 league games alongside him. But it does appear as if Sekigawa might not be able to continue. That was Kim Tae-hyun, the South Korean centre-back, a new signing for this season from relegated Sagan Tosu, who is being readied already. It does look like he may well be required. Yet to start for the club. Kim has come off the bench 6 times so far this season, having started 24 games for Sagan Tosu as they went down to J2 last year. His last league start came for them back in October. Certainly an early setback for Kashima, who have been the dominant force, nearly 2/3 of the possession so far, not yet creating a clear-cut opportunity. Dominated a lot of the territory as well, nearly half of their passes in the final third of the field, but their issue right now is at the other end. This well-established centre-back pairing is about to be broken up, it would appear. And there is a longer-term concern, maybe. It's early to speculate in those terms, but the concern was pretty immediate, given the way that Sekigawa went down. And a lengthy stoppage in play here, affording Toru Aniki the chance to pass on some early instruction and observation, and in particular for Kim Tae-hyun to take information of his own on board before his apparent introduction into the action. It's the wide players, Chavric and Araki, that Aniki is currently in discussion with, along with his coaching staff there. Seki Chuko, a familiar figure on the sidelines, he stepped in as interim manager to take charge of the last 6 games of last season after the departure in October of Ranko Popovic, who has remained on the coaching staff under Aniki. But this is the south side, as the centre-back departs on a stretcher. Sekigawa, yes, indeed theirs will be. He's a very popular figure at the club. Leaves the scene early in the action. Kim Tae-hyun, a like-for-like replacement at the back. He's had to bide his time because of that partnership between Ueda and Sekagawa. But here comes his opportunity. Not how he would have wanted it, but he'll be determined to make the most of it. We'll need him. He will need him to slot straight in alongside Ueda. That's the Machida team so dangerous on their travels. 5 away wins, more than anybody else in J1 coming into this weekend. Joint second top scorers away from home in the division as well. Only Kyoto Sanga have managed more. Only Vissel Kobe and Kashima Reysol have conceded fewer away goals than Machida coming into this. Here's Araki. Finding Chavric. There's Tagawa in the middle. Just didn't get that far, but Chavric may yet get another go. Miss out. There is Kim, his first involvement since coming on. Amzai. Ueda. Sakui forward, back from Chavric. Too far forward on that occasion. It's comfortable for Kosei Tani. Machida did beat Kashima Antlers twice at home last season, including knocking them out of the J.LEAGUE Cup. But they've only ever made 2 previous visits here. Once in the league last season on the last day of it. Before that in the Emperor's Cup, and have lost both of those visits. There's a tall order for whatever team comes to the Kashima Soccer Stadium in recent years. They're giving as good as they're getting, Machida Zelvia, so far. Haven't had a lot of the ball, but they won't be perturbed by that. That is not necessarily part of their game plan. Still looking though for their first shot at goal. That we've seen at the other end. It won't come here. Just mistimed the run, and the flag went up. The movement of Kanji Kuwayama could be important today. Scored just the one so far off the bench in his first senior season. A show of faith from Go Kuroda to bring him in from the start for a match of this magnitude as we reach the midway point of the first half. Yuma Suzuki. Shimaseki wider. Kim Tae-hyun. Koki Anzai. Suzuki always on the move. Top scorer in the last 2 years, Yuma Suzuki. Short now of his century for the club. It's well worked. Here's Chavric. Didn't quite have the room to manoeuvre. Already though that Kashima were looking for Alexander Chavric in every opportunity. A threat coming down that side at the moment. He will be paying close attention to. Really scripted one of the great footballing stories last season. Go Kuroda with Machida. On top of the table for significant spells of their first ever year at this level. Definition maybe for Mochizuki here. That's how he was hurt as he went down. moving particularly freely once he got up again. The right wing back. Brought off at half-time actually on Tuesday, but is starting a third successive game for them today. He will take the throw. To aim at here. Suzuki, decent distance on it. First head was the Kashima one, which afforded the chance to clear it. It may yet come for Chavric. Little bit fortunate how it did end up at his feet, and he wasn't quite able to slip that through towards Araki. That was his intention. Would have been away, Ryotaro Araki, had it reached him. Suzuki forward by Anzai. Tagawa was his target. Tani got there first. It's Chavric. Kashima winning it back high up the pitch. Tagawa. Araki. Quite have the room. He was just fended off there as he attempted to create a glimpse of goal for himself. It's a good spell this for Kashima Antlers. Home side in the ascendancy right now. Sukui back for Shibasaki. Suzuki made the run and reached it and finds Chavric. He just slipped it, he struck it somewhat. Therefore couldn't capitalise from another promising position that he put himself in. A lovely run this from deep from Suzuki. To stay onside and try and set up the Slovak. Continues to feature prominently. Corner kick to come. Ryotaro Araki will take it. Rookie of the Year in the J-League in 2021. Current under-23 international. He was out on loan last season with FC Tokyo. He's returned and has featured regularly recently. He'll take the corners. A lot going on in the middle, including the player going down just prior to the ball coming in, and they will get another go. Zivic there in the thick of things, the Kosovan international. Take two for Ryotaro Araki. Slightly deeper delivery this time. Put away by Okamura. Wasn't troubling the target from Kazuki Sukui when it came his way. Lurking with intent here though on the edge of the penalty area. Just couldn't quite control the shot. Struck across it. Scored a senior goal. Kazuki Sukui wasn't too close to changing that on that occasion. Anzai under pressure. Probably therefore settled for that in the circumstances. Busy day of action in J1 on what is Constitution Memorial Day in Japan, one of the Golden Week celebrations. It also means there's an awful lot of football at this time of the year. It's given away by Suzuki. The club's played midweek last week and will do so again next week. As this full round of fixtures, Matchweek 14 over the weekend. It could change significantly over the next few days. So tight is the table right now. Tae-kyun. Substitute forced on by the early injury to Okigawa. Sukui. Suzuki dropping deeper. Here's Kento Misao. Chavric. Suzuki. Tagawa. Just running out of room in pursuit of that one. Last season in Scotland with Hearts, couple of goals in the Scottish Premiership for Kiyosuke Tagawa. Started his career with Sagan Tosu and previously played for FC Tokyo as well before leaving for Europe. It was Santa Clara and in Scotland. They have options in attack now, Kashima Antlers, this season. Very content to let that continue. Here's Suzuki trying to take advantage. Support outside of him from Anzai, forward from fullback, who covered good ground. Turns it to Suzuki. Kim. Ueda. Possession continues from those in red. Chavric taking the pass from Sukui. Doing well to ride the challenge and to win the corner. Strong play from Alexander Chavric when that came his way. Taking the better of Hiroyuki Mai. That's how it all started. There was a foul in there, it was by Kuwayama. Very correct to let Kashima continue and come away with it. They'll still be able to make something of this from the corner kick to come. But not particularly threateningly because of the presence there on the post of Trezovic to deal with that one. From Iraqi needed to be a bit better, but those that had ventured forward will stay forward because of the throw. Kazuki Sukui to take this one. On the throw, it was flicked on threateningly, but is cleared convincingly by Mochizuki. Just can't really get hold of the ball at the moment. So their game plan is based more on the direct counter-attacking element. They've not quite had the opportunity really to even implement that yet. They're having to do a lot of work without the ball. Most of it inside their own half. But standing firm so far. Away from Chavric. 4 clean sheets in J1 so far for Machida Zelvia, but none of those in their last 4 games. They've failed to score in 3 of the last 4. Over the course of the last quarter of an hour, they've had just 30% of the possession. A lot of those passes have been in pretty dangerous territory from the Antlers. Not that they've yet been able to make it count. That could change here. All sorts of options in attack. Chavric in low towards the run of Iraqi. He goes down. Stretching to try and reach that. As Chavric rolled it his way. Suzuki's integral to everything at the moment, isn't he? He's the one finding spaces, really. Chavric had time to try and pick that pass, and Trezovic just got to it first. Head of Ryotaro Araki. Felt he might at least have had the corner kick out of that, but not so. Worked up rather well, that for Trezovic. He's had a bit of ball at feet so far, but hasn't been forced into any other sort of action really as yet. It's a defensive record that they have, as well as being the league's leading scorers. 11 goals conceded through the first 13 games. This is better for Machida. For Kuwayama, Mochizuki in low, well dealt with, because that could have been awkward. And it does just underline, though, the difficulties for Kashima Antlers, for as dominant as they have been in the game. It only takes a moment for Machida to potentially change everything. It's, the visitors will be approaching this. Mochizuki waiting to take the throw again. We've seen already the distance that he's capable of getting in these sort of situations, and it goes again from him. It's a Kashima free kick. We're back helping out his own defence and doing so effectively enough. With just one away defeat all season in their first 7 games. So Vissel Kobe late last month. The away game in which they failed to score actually so far this season, that 1-0 defeat. So in the last 10 games on their travels, they didn't breach the opposition defence. So well suited to playing away from home on the counter. More direct than many in this division. It was such a successful policy for them last season when they took many by surprise. They don't quite have that same sort of element this year. They still play to their strengths, certainly. The opposition are a little more well-versed now in what those strengths are, and perhaps in how best to counter them. We've seen 1 or 2 tweaks from Go Kuroda to try and navigate that. His record so far has been remarkable. 1 promotion in his first season in charge, after replacing Ranko Popovic, who went on, of course, to coach Kashima Antlers, and then took them to 3rd last season, challenging for the title all the way until the final day in that defeat against Kashima, which ultimately would have proved academic in terms of the title, because they needed other results to go their way as well, and they didn't. Here come Kashima with Chavric, options either side. This is Suzuki slipping it through for Anzai. Anzai fires it back, brilliant goal. Oh, that's wonderfully worked, and Tagawa on the end of it to put Kashima Antlers in front. Super football. And the league leaders are ahead here. The dominant force in terms of the possession throughout the game. And now they put together a super sequence to make it pay. Suzuki involved. Anzai able to cut it back. And Tagawa had put himself in the perfect spot. He was calling for it, he got it, applied that first time finish, his first goal for the club. It could be such a significant one. Comes in his 14th appearance for Kashima Antlers. First goal for Keisuke Tagawa. Find the finishing touch. Others deserve their share of the credit as well, as they carve their way through at pace with precision. We'll feel sure that this lead is merited. Way through for Mochizuki as Machida set about trying to find their response. Career goal for Keisuke Tagawa since he scored for Hearts against Rangers in a 3-3 draw in Scotland nearly a year ago. First goal in J1 since he scored for FC Tokyo in a home defeat against Urawa Reds, September of 2021. To be patient since returning to Japanese football to get his goal, but not that you would know it from the manner in which he took it. By Drezovic, the Antlers on course for what would be a 4th straight win. Some way to bounce back from those actually 3 successive defeats. But during that run as well, they also went out of the J.League Cup on penalties to lower league Renofo Yamaguchi after a 1-1 draw. Kuroda's team that need to try and bounce back here. They themselves had lost 3 on the bounce before the midweek win to Cerezo Osaka, which they hope would provide a platform to push on from. But it was always going to be a big ask today against opposition of this quality. The scale of that challenge has just been underlined, I think, in the course of this first half, and certainly the manner in which the goal was created and converted. Shushi taking a tumble. Yama wanted to take that quickly against Chavric. Suzuki. The miss kick. There's Kuwayama, a brief sight of goal. Suzuki in support, if he could reach it on the stretch. Nearly made something of it. Shibaseki's able to bring it clear. Suzuki. Out. It was by the goal scorer Tagawa. Certainly, Corona will want to see more from Machida in an attacking sense in the second half. Yet on getting themselves back on terms before then. They don't have long left to do so. It's Chavric. To return it to Hayakawa. Ever present in their goal in the last couple of years now. 5th season at the club as part of the senior squad. To be patient initially to get the gloves, but once he did, he has kept hold of them. Will be a free kick. With Ibrahim Drezovic down. Up a half-century of appearances for the club in midweek when he got his first goal of the season. Cerezo Osaka. Their goals on Tuesday coming in the second half. Scored a first half goal in any of the last 4 matches. That is close now to becoming 5. Four additional minutes added on at the end of this first half, primarily because of that injury to Kashima Soccer, making up most of those. The stoppage whilst the centre-back was treated and eventually stretchered off. So the first half not done yet. Tae-kyun summoned as his replacement, but they've recovered well from the early setback of Kashima. Is in front, and there has been elements of authority about their play for most of this half. Mochizuki with another long throw. So far they've been well repelled. Here's Suzuki winning the free kick as he was held back. He's had a good game, Yuma Suzuki, so far. He's involved in the goal as well. Certainly those travelling fans not without hope. Far from it, away from home. 150 kilometres between the cities either side of the capital city of Tokyo. Machida making the trip northeast today to the Kashima Soccer Stadium. Ibaraki Prefecture, Constitution Memorial Day. Ball here by Kim. Tagawa. Able to bring that under their spell. Now Shimaseki has it, trying to do that. Shimada away. Oyama trying to make his presence felt, but just shrugged off the ball. And Sukui stepping across from that right back role. In the middle, which as I mentioned is probably long-term where he would prefer to play in this side, where he will eventually end up. The ball here on the right. To reach that indeed just ahead of Kuwayama. Again, Wada goes longer this time. Soshi in the way. His goal increasingly looks like it will be the one that separates them at half-time. Kiyusuke Tagawa, 6 minutes before the break. That the Antlers will feel they are value for at this juncture. Carry through for Hayakawa in the end, for which he will be grateful. His 99th appearance for the club today is Tomoki Hayakawa. The goal. Much of his work so far this afternoon has been relatively routine. There's a huge clearance, will be the last action of this first half. So it has gone the Antlers' way, edging ahead at the interval, thanks to the goal from Kiyusuke Tagawa. His first for the club since signing last summer, applying the finishing touch to a really well-worked team move that cut away through, made their possession and pressure pay, and found a way through an otherwise resolute rearguard provided by Machida Zelvia. They will need to find more of an attacking threat if they are to turn this one around. in the second half. They will still sense the opportunity to do so. But it's the Antlers ahead, and just about deservedly so, really, on the evidence of what we've seen so far. Half-time here. Kashima Antlers 1, Machida Zelvia 0. Welcome back. We are at the start of the second half at Kashima Soccer Stadium, and Machida Zelvia are making a couple of changes. Kaya Sento being replaced by Na Sang-ho, and Kanji Kuwayama's first ever J1 start ends early, ends at the interval. O.C. Hun is on in his place. So two South Koreans summoned as substitutes for the start of the second half by a Machida side, trailing at Kashima Antlers by a goal to nil. Go Kuroda has made clear maybe his lack of satisfaction at the attacking threat, or lack of it, that his side showed in that first period. So he has set about changing it. Trailing by that Tagawa goal to nil. Kashima Antlers who get the second half underway then, leading Machida Zelvia by a goal to nil, scored 6 minutes before the break by Keisuke Tagawa. First half in which the home team were on top, in which they had the vast majority of the ball, in which they were eventually able to pick a way through with a well-crafted opening goal. Provide a platform that they will attempt to build on here. Trying to start the second half strongly as well, with the early corner kick to come. Machida prompted into changes. Sihun scored actually 4 minutes after coming on at half-time in midweek. The win at Cerezo on Tuesday, but his first duty this afternoon will be a defensive one. Everybody back in white, trying to defend this corner kick. Reki to take it, deeper delivery. Turn the goalkeeper's way, and it's a comfortable enough take, despite running into traffic for Kosei Tani. They just overhit the clearance a little bit. It's a deliberate ball from him out over there, but showed too much on it maybe. Machida with these half-time changes. Kashima, who were forced into one of their own when they brought on Kim Tae-hyun early in the game. The centre-back Sekigawa stretched it off. Sees his replacement potentially pick up a bit of an issue here. That's how it happened, just limping away was Kim. An awful lot in it. But, clearly felt it straight away. This would be a huge setback if they were to lose a second centre-back through injury in the game. Kim only playing because of Sekigawa's problem. Just want to keep an eye on. He looks still in real discomfort. A bit more promising now that he's back on his feet again. Niki waiting for word. A couple of left-backs on the bench. So a bit of a reshuffle would be required if they were to have to make another change. They will hope not. And they'll certainly give him an opportunity to run this off. And hope that he can do so. Monitored closely, I'm sure, in the next couple of minutes or so. Here's Shibasaki. Too much room on the touchline for Koki Anzai. They're off the lineups, go across the bottom of your screen. Yuma Suzuki. It's a lovely turn. It was quickly closed down. Taku was scampering after that. It's picked up in a similar vein, hasn't it, to how the first half finished. Kashima on top, on the ball for the majority of the time. Asking most of the questions. Here is Koki Anzai taking on Mochizuki, was strong. Call to the relief of Mochizuki here. Shot was being pulled a bit as well. Touch. Off Tagawa. So Tani gets it clear, gets decent distance on that. Swiftly finds himself back on the ball again, the Machida goalkeeper. Japanese international as recently as last summer, when he won his second cap in June last year. He's been a regular in the squad since then, unused in the last 8 internationals. Still was aimed in towards Tagawa by Araki. Shibasaki. Sukui. beat the press. They've not quite really been able to do that yet. To spark the counter-attack, they have the players capable of causing problems in transition, certainly, but as yet they've not quite been able to exploit those sort of situations as they are often able to. It's a big part of the game plan under Kuroda. To win the ball in those sort of situations 6 times according to the official stats, but as yet it hasn't prompted the opportunity at the other end that remains elusive, really. It stays only at 1-0. I certainly believe one moment may well come their way. So we'll need to be clinical today. With the throw, Sung Ho. A lot of room in which to work, but might settle for that. Second season at the club for the former FC Seoul player. He's only started the one game this season against Shonan Bellmare, but it's the 10th time that we've seen him off the subs bench. Plenty of time to make a difference today. Here's Mochizuki. Jezovic teeing one up. Soma. Not really been able to get into the game yet. Shimada, under pressure, has to go back to his goalkeeper. Suzuki is a little unlucky. It didn't bounce more favourably for him. Hiroyuki Mai. Tuesday for the first time in a month and has kept his place today, the former Avispa Fukuoka player. Here's the chance maybe at the other end. Referee's reaching for his pocket here for the first time today, and understandably so in the circumstances. Kim Tae-hyun had to commit to the challenge, but it was a clear-cut caution. It's a promising position for those in white. Sihan had got in front of him before he was hauled back. Confirmation of the caution for the South Korean substitute for the challenge on his compatriot, the foul on his compatriot. Shimada has put the ball down. He does have competition in taking this. Hayakawa to do. He's going to take it, trying to catch out the goalkeeper. Didn't quite have the angle right. Wasn't far away. Still waiting for his first goal of this season. Hokuto Shimada does have a dozen goals to his name in the colours of Machida Zelvia. He's part of the squad that won promotion from J2. Adapting to life at this level as the goalkeeper Hayakawa has quickly closed down, but kept his composure despite that. But the space maybe for Soma if he could reach it. It was just a fraction in front of it. And it's starting to get a little more stretched, and maybe for the first time today we are seeing signs of what Machida are capable of creating. Pressure being applied to those in red and black. Some vulnerabilities beginning to appear because of that. Defended that one well though. Trying to turn defence into attack themselves if Chavric can keep it in on the touchline, and he does so. And he himself was then quickly closed down. Worked once more, just in a spin on the ball to keep it in play, to allow Chavric to get to it before Okamura came across. Throwing himself at the feet, really, of Alexander Chavric with the challenge. A lively first 10 minutes of this second half. as he has done most of the afternoon, will assume set-piece responsibility for the home side. He's done for most of the last few weeks, really, since forcing his way into the starting lineup. It's a deeper delivery, it's Suzuki, and it's straight at Tani. Caught it sweetly enough, but the goalkeeper was right behind it. Took it first time, improvised a little bit. Unfortunate, perhaps. Just looked away from Yuki Soma. Machida will be concerned at the space that Suzuki found a moment ago, but they themselves are beginning to find a bit more of that commodity in opposition territory. Relatively speaking, anyway, in the last few minutes. Kim's clearance just over the head of Yuma Suzuki. 3 years in Belgium with St. Trident. And his 4th season back in Kashima. This competition now, of course, is their leading scorer. Ciara has twice as many as his 4 goals so far. Suzuki having been their leading marksman in each of the last 2 years. Of the 2 of them, once Ciara is fully up to speed again. There's a frightening thought for the rest in J1. Here's Yuki Soma, seeing a bit more of it for Machida. It's a dangerous ball, and they can't quite apply the touch to it. Mochizuki sliding in was the closest in doing so, without being able to get his toe to that to turn it in. Cross goal was a threatening one from Na Sang-ho. He's the one that linked well with Soma. Mochizuki arriving from the other side. So just a split second late, but they are certainly looking more of a threat now. And they're beginning to sustain that threat. Machida Zelvia. Mochizuki yet to score for them. It's his 40th appearance in Zelvia colours this afternoon. Actually now currently just edging the possession. Just over 50% of it for Machida Zelvia, which is in real contrast to what went before. Should have had almost 3/4 of the ball in that first half. At goal in that first period either from Machida. They've also begun to address that. We've seen a couple already since the restart. The promise may be of more to come, and that perhaps is what is prompting changes from Toru Aniki. He's making a couple of alterations of his own here. We're going to see Yuta Matsumura and Kai Shinen, who featured prominently recently, being summoned as substitutes here. Samura for what will be his 100th appearance in J1. Shibasaki making way. He will hand over the captain's armband. His place in midfield will be taken by Kai Shinen, who scored in the last home game, the only goal against Nagoya Grampus. Raki is the other player making way for Matsumura, who will take his spot out wide. Here's Shinen, who will replace Shibasaki in the centre. Second goal, I should say, this season in that last home game for the former Kawasaki Frontale player. Enough to keep his spot in the starting lineup. They have real competition for places in that part of the pitch, despite the fact that Higuchi remains unavailable. As Mochizuki launches it long, Soma will reach it first, but across to deal with it came Sakui on the cover. Importantly so in the concession only of the corner. Not been there, and Yuki Soma was in on goal. Fancied the score from there, I'm sure. Better from Machida, an hour in. Shimada to take the corner, right in front of those travelling supporters. Short this one for Trezovic. Back for Shimada to try and swing it in, too close to Hayakawa. Straight into the goalkeeper's gloves it goes. It's a very deliberate attempt to release Chavric. Really a successful one. Very prominent early on, a little less so maybe more latterly, Alexander Chavric. Still with the quality to make it count. As it usually is here at the Kashima Soccer Stadium, which really has been a stronghold for the Antlers over the last couple of seasons. They were the only J1 team unbeaten at home last year. Everybody else lost at least 4 times in front of their own fans. They didn't lose any. Just ball. They were setting off in pursuit of it. Soma went with him. So it was all the more of a shock to the system when they were beaten a couple of home games ago by Kyoto Sanka. That 4-3 defeat. There is the substitute Matsumura bringing up his century in J1. Tokyo Verdy player. He was on loan there last season. He's come off the bench now in the last 4 matches for the Antlers since his return. Home defeat that I mentioned against Kyoto ended a 27-game unbeaten league run in front of their own fans for Kashima Antlers. Dated back to September of 2023. They lost 2 of that. That's 39 at home in this division, which gives you an idea of the extent of the challenge for Machida to try and get back in this. No Sang-ho, who has looked likely in their pursuit of doing so, likely to make something happen maybe since he came on at the break. Those changes have helped, I think. He wrestled back a little bit of attacking impetus for Kuroda's team. Soda's going to take the throw. Bit of room really. Suhan, I think, was his target in there. He would have been a bit disappointed not to start the game, Suhan, having scored his first goal of the season when coming on at half-time in midweek. He comes on at half-time for the 2nd game in a row, hoping to have a similar sort of impact in front of goal. Short of double figures for the club now. Across his career with them. Assistant referee right on the scene, flagging for the foul as Chavric goes down. The ball from Suzuki, as he didn't have a lot of room in which to work. Neither, unfairly as it turned out, did Chavric. Played his part, Yuma Suzuki so far, putting his team in a promising position. In the course of the contest and in this particular situation as well. With a set piece to come, and it looks like Chavric himself might take this one. Araki having now gone off, who was previously assuming that responsibility. Sunshine. Just hoping to have something further to celebrate here. Chavric will deliver it. The goalkeeper couldn't get it, and is grateful that that cleared his crossbar. Tani came and didn't really get near the ball in from Chavric. The header was always just a bit too high. Rosewell to meet it. Tagawa Rich and Suzuki were calling for it. This time the goalkeeper did get to it first. He was also hurt in the process. They opted to punch that one clear. Full stretch again. Han is the target, trying to flick that one on towards Na Sang-ho. Shoji, the skipper, to Nakayama. There's Soma. Suzuki. Ibrahim Drezovic. They are having much more prolonged possession than at any period of the first half, Machida, since the turnaround. And they turn around their fortunes on the scoreboard. They've given that one away, though, straight to Suzuki, and that could spell trouble, given the mood that he appears to be in today. Trying to slip it through towards Matsumura. Which was well read. Well dealt with by Okamura. Getting more stretch, though, isn't it? That could suit Machida. Going for Yuki Soma at the end of that, but he is getting more involved. He was very much on the fringes earlier in the game. To step up towards centre stage now. Raider guides that one back to Hayakawa. Turn from whence it came. Musi Hung couldn't quite get his shot away, but he will get the free kick there right on the edge of the penalty area. Painful one for him. His presence is making a difference as well. There's the earlier one on Soma. And then this. Musi Hung pulling back that left boot to try and get the shot away as the challenge came in from Missam. Came in and caught him. If anything, this might be a little too close to goal to be as favourable as it could have been for Machida. They'll still fancy it. Possibilities for them from here. Gone beyond the midway point of this second half. This has the feeling of a big moment. Their team's pursuit of a route back to parity. This be the moment. Shimada trying to organise those in front of him, because they have positioned plenty in front of that Kashima wall. Going to be dinked goalwards and brilliantly and unluckily for Hokuto Shimada. It's a really good attempt, this. Goalkeeper was beaten, I think, but it bounced off the top of the bar. Na Sang-ho actually stepped up to strike it at the last moment. That was close. That is by a massive margin, really, the closest that Machida have come this afternoon. Kick won by one South Korean substitute, struck by another. Striking the frame of that goal. So the Kashima lead is looking a fragile one right now. Is going to come through for Yuta Nakayama. Is it going to break this time? Shimada striking it straight at the goalkeeper, Hayakawa behind that one. Sukui, I think, is the player that stayed down for Kashima, but now all of a sudden they're the ones on the attack. Ready for that to run away from Suzuki. It's Certainly is opening up the game into these last 20 minutes now. Not sure that Kashima will be overly happy about that. The authority, the degree of control that they've had for much of the match appears no more. This was the Shimada strike. Bent around Kim, but straight at Hayakawa. Were even closer, weren't they, a moment earlier from the free kick. So very close to a third goal of his season. They've done with the keeper, I was told, in the game, Machida, earlier in proceedings when it looked a possibility it could get away from them. Now they've put themselves in potentially a position to profit. Here they come again. They're in the ascendancy right now. Strongest spell of the match by far. Shoji forward. O.C. Hun scampering after it, just been to it. Do need to keep things tight at the other end though. Remain alert in situations like this. Soji coming under pressure. Slips away from Suzuki. He's applying that pressure. And Tagawa still working well together in tandem up top. Soma stretching to try and keep it in. Can only present it to Chavric, having done so. Particularly convincing from Hayakawa. Soma seeing a lot more service now, taking on Sakui. Cuts out the cross at the expense of the corner. He joined last summer, Yuki Soma from Nagoya Grampus. Kept 14 times by Japan. Started every game so far this season, and he is looking one of the most likely to make something happen for Machida. Shimada's going to take the corner. Far post it goes, and returned through to Hayakawa to grab it. Certainly see what they were trying. On the training ground, but statements of attacking intent. Could this change prove? Shiraseki is on in place of Shimada. He'll take his spot in midfield. Experienced Ryohei Shiraseki, player caps over 50 times. Player, I should say, who played over 50 times for today's opponents. It's a notable introduction. It's with Kashima Antlers between 2019 and 2021. Ryohei Shiraseki. Machida halfway through last season from Shimazu Esports. He's into the action. Sakui, not for the first time this afternoon, is down. So covered an awful lot of ground, and look at this, we're going to see Leo Ciara back in action. Still nobody has scored more goals in J1 this season than the Brazilian. 8 so far in his first season since he signed from Cerezo Osaka. He's missed the last 3 through injury. 21 goals he got in J1 last season. His career best. He's going to come on. Place, I believe, yeah, of the only player who has scored so far today. Kensuke Tagawa. Remains the difference today. precision with which it was both crafted and converted. Tagawa's part is played. Here's Ciara on. Started the first 10 games of the season after his signing from Cerezo. First 11 in all competitions, but he has been sidelined more latterly until now. And for Kashima to get him back out there again. Away at Matsumoto, it did, but he wasn't quite able to make it stick against Mochizuki. Suzuki to link with Leo Ciara. Brazilian on in front of the watching Zico. The technical advisor is here, I'm told, today in the stands. Well, Ciara looking up for this right from the start of his involvement and winning the free kick. Morris challenge. It's mistimed, he got player and not ball. Daihachi Okamura. One of the new signings for this season, he went down last year with Consadole. 4 years with them, but came straight back to the top flight. 2.5-year contract with Machida in January. Club as well. Kashima with their big links to Brazil, known as the Brazil of Tokyo. Due to the popularity of this sport in the city. Will afford the concession of a second at this stage, though. Kusei Tanai needs to be alert here because of the players that have been committed forward in red. Chavlich is the one standing over the ball. Actually sent it straight through to the goalkeeper. It was always going to be ambitious to take any sort of a shot on from that far out. So Tanai was not extended when it came his way. And if anything, it was a little bit of a waste, given the numbers that they had brought up from the back. Gets back, wins that well. Turn to him by Leo Ciara. Suzuki seems to be staying a bit wider since the substitution. Ciara dropping deep again to get involved in the build-up. Such a fine start to the season before that little spell on the sidelines, including a hat-trick in the 3-1 win at Kashiwa Reysol a week into March. Was losing it in potentially dangerous territory, but only if that ball had been better. Yuki Soma was the only target for it, but it wasn't close to him. Miss out. Zai. That had come, so he was able to gather that up at the feet of Leo Ciara. Shoji, another former Kashima Antlers player, had a couple of spells with today's opponents. Notably between 2011 and 2018, and then another solitary season in 2023 before making the move to Machida. Zelvia's season so far. The back line that is beginning to be tested more frequently. Suzuki here with the first time attempt at the finish. Sees it flash just wide. Had that gone the other side of the post, it might have finished off the game. Matsumura did well to get the better of Drezovic. Sent it the way of Suzuki with an instinctive effort. Made it a lot more comfortable going into the last 10 minutes had that gone in. little link up between he and Matsumura. Suzuki is looking for now Sang-ho. Soji. Soma showed strength. It's time to luck up and deliver the cross. He might get another go as it comes back his way. Won't quite get beyond Sakui a second time though, and then fouls the fullback. Frustration getting the better of Yuki Soma maybe at the end of that. Sakui, although he has stayed down at the end of it. He's put a shift in. He's maybe paying a bit of a price for that. We're going to see Mitchell Duke next. Another striker summoned as a sub by Machida here. It does appear as if the number 5 is up, so a defender to be sacrificed to get another centre forward on. Drezovic is going to come off by the looks of this. He's making way. Change of shape. At this stage that Joe Kuroda certainly deems worth taking. Mitchell Duke, who hadn't started the previous 2 games, he was brought off at half-time on Tuesday, the Australian international. 34 years of age now, 3rd season at the club. One of those players under Joe Kuroda that got them out of J2. That he's described as no nonsense. Mitchell Duke is on. Who clears that one away. Hoping for further reason to celebrate on this public holiday in Japan. Constitution Memorial Day celebrating the entering into of the Constitution of Japan back in 1947. The week in the nation is always such an important week in the J1 season, with a number of games packed into it. Here's Duke, first involvement, gets his toe to it, and then O.C. Hun tries to find the finish and is foiled. But there already maybe is the difference that Duke can make. Another striker up there, affording the chance for them to combine here. He just couldn't find the finish though. Comfortable for Hayakawa, away to his right in the end to gather it up. It's certainly an indication of what they could be capable of creating, the chaos maybe that they could cause together, which is part of the plan in these latter stages of the game. Kimura will return it. That's from Kim Tae-hyun. Miss out, sweeping that one forward, a bit too far forward for Matsumura. The other end, there's Mitchell Duke again. Just gives them a different dimension, doesn't he? Soma. Shirasaki. Soma swings a lovely cross in, and the goalkeeper just gets there at the feet of Mitchell Duke. Did enough to deny him without bringing him down. Back in it goes again though, towards O.C. Hun. Sang-ho's shot charged down, he gets it back. Machida giving this everything now, final 5 of the 90. And they're looking as threatening as they have at any stage of the game. Still sensing the chance to rescue some reward this afternoon from the trip the other side of Tokyo. Let's have another look at this. Again, it's the centre forwards attempting to combine. Osihan this time with the knockdown towards Mitchell Duke, who was just beaten to it by Hayakawa, and it was risky from the goalkeeper because there was every chance that he got that wrong, that he would have conceded a penalty. Instead, they have this free kick to face. Yuki Soma is standing over it, and he has pretty much all of his teammates to try and aim for in the middle. Soma does swing it in, but doesn't disappointingly beat the first line of defence. Disappointingly for Yuki Soma and for Machida Zelvia, but everyone has stayed forward. Chavric with a well-timed challenge, just to nick that one away from Mai. Is it again under pressure as Chavric. Knocked out by Leo Ciara. Did overrun it a bit. This is Okamura. And that is a yellow card issued by Takafumi Mikuria. What a turnaround we've seen in this game, really, in the second half in terms of the balance of play, but not yet any alteration to the scoreline. Chavric was the player cautioned in there. Had less than 30% possession in the first period. But Machida now the dominant force with the ball in pursuit of parity, but running out of time to make it count. Latest in a line of set pieces now for Soma. This time by Wada. Dealt with decisively. With a crowd of over 33,000 in attendance. Will it be back-to-back 1-0 home wins for Kashima in response to that 4-3 defeat that they suffered surprisingly here against Kyoto Sanka? If it is, then they're going to have to do it the hard way, and they are hanging on a little bit at the end. Mochizuki's cross comes through for Osihan, wider for Soma. Yuki Soma with an ambitious attempt that needed to be spectacular. He saw enough of that far top corner to tempt him into it, but he couldn't quite locate it. Hayakawa knew the moment really that left Soma's boot that the goalkeeper wasn't going to be required. A couple of goals for Soma so far this season. Of those in the victory at Gamba Osaka a month ago. Also scored in defeat in the opening game of the season at home to Sanfrecce. Two of their first three this season in J1 Machida before winning the next three in a row. To salvage this now. Takawa's goal, still the difference. You can only watch on as these closing stages unfold. First minute of the 90, although there will be a bit to add on beyond that, you suspect. Tally goes long, no surprise in that at this stage. Soji. Kashima last won the title in 2016. He was part of the squad as it was swung in threateningly again. But it's a similar story in that there has been no end product for Machida. Here's now, if that is to change today, it will have to happen in stoppage time. Still hoping that he will be cast in the role of match winner when that full-time whistle goes, which will be in 5 minutes from now. Ryuki Kimura, the fourth official, just signalling the amount of added time. Kashima Antlers getting closer. Would be a a fourth straight win. Fujiano Okayama, Nagoya Grampus and Yokohama beaten already in this sequence. Close to adding another impressive 3 points to their tally to ensure they will stay top of the table today. Also put 8 points between these two clubs, should it stay this way. Certainly been spells in this second half where it looked like that equalising goal was on the way, but it hasn't yet arrived. No wonder he is looking at his watch. This will seem like a long final few minutes maybe for Toru Aniki in these circumstances. The third consecutive clean sheet is close for the Antlers. For O.C. Hunt. Nakayama forward for Soma. Soma's cross was a decent one, but nobody weren't really attacking that, despite the number that they had in and around the penalty area. Comes out only as far as Nakayama. Former Huddersfield Town player getting a bit more involved going forward as well. Na Sang-ho with a cross this time. Mai Soji. Still the pressure continues. Another ball in from Na Sang-ho. Got out at some personal cost this time, but needs must at the moment for those in red. Hands on deck defensively for Aniki's team to try and hold what they have. It's not the first time that Sakui has been the one in the way, preventing the cross from coming. This time preventing it courtesy of the side of his face. A really big effort by the home team, by their right back in particular. It's certainly been kept busy as the afternoon has gone on. Minutes of additional time at least to play. Soma preparing to launch this into the penalty area. It's well defended initially. It's returned by Shirasaki. Not entirely dealt with yet. Here's Soma again. Mai is the one that floated that forward. Kashima with everybody back. Needing to stand firm for another 90 seconds or so, maybe. Throw on the other side this time from Mochizuki, or at least that's what he was initially preparing. Instead, he has the ball back at feet to deliver the cross, which was helped on goalwards by O.C. Hun, but nobody else able to intervene before it reached Tomoki Hayakawa. And the goalkeeper will hold on to it for as long as he is possibly permitted. By the time he releases it, if they can hold it up the other end, it might be enough for Kashima. Does get huge height and distance on that clearance, does Hayakawa. It's worked out rather well. Deliberate attempt to wrap it up in audacious style. He's always just clearing the crossbar. Sakui. And that's Samura. There is Leo Ciara, and he had Chavric in space in the middle. Had it come his way, he would have had a tap in. It didn't. Tani was able to grab it first to take it off his toes, but it should matter not in the overall context, really, of the contest. Because once the goalkeeper clears this away, you imagine that final whistle won't be too far away. Maybe one more attack to try and withstand. Nakayama. Mai. Quite able to collect it in his stride. On we go at the referee's discretion. They are desperate for that whistle. Mitchell Duke. And they have just run out of time. Machida Zelvia here. It is 4 consecutive wins for the J1 leaders. Kashima Antlers were hanging on a little bit, certainly in that second half, when Machida applied plenty of pressure, but Go Kuroda's team have not been able to force their way back into it. And Kiyosuke Tagawa's goal late in the first half has proved to be the only goal. The Antlers were on top at that stage in value for that lead, but they've certainly had to work hard to hold on to it throughout the course of this second period. Machida may feel a little hard done by, but they have ended up empty-handed as they suffer a 4th defeat in 5. The Antlers ensuring that they will keep hold of the top spot today, certainly finding their form again. Another clean sheet required, a 3rd in succession to go with Tagawa's winning goal. It's ended here, Kashima Antlers 1, Machida Zelvia 0. Entertaining watch, wasn't it, throughout. Machida deserving credit for the part that they played in pursuit of parity. They certainly never gave it up, they took it the distance, just couldn't get their goal. A couple of big scares for Hayakawa. Determination and discipline to shut out the opposition once more. And the league's top scorers having to settle for 1 and ensuring that 1 was enough today. The goal from Tagawa, his first for the club, just before half-time. Soma was certainly integral in that second half story, at the centre of much of what Machida did. Maybe Na Sang-ho was the closest to equalising with his free kick that hit the top of the bar. He and O.C. Hun made a difference when they came on at half-time. Mitchell Duke made a difference in the shorter spell that he was on the field as well. He gave them another option in attack. But try as they might, and they certainly did plenty of that, they just couldn't get their goal. They just came up short. And they are beaten at Kashima Soccer Stadium, as they were on their last visit on the final day of last season. A result that saw them miss out on the title. It would have happened anyway. They had to win to have any chance, and they were beaten. They've been beaten again here. Kashima finished just a point behind them last season as a result of that final day scoreline, and they've now put 8 points between these clubs in the current standings, 14 games into the season. But the travelling fans will be satisfied, I'm sure, with the efforts of their team. Maybe a little less so in that first half. It took that double change at the break to find more of an attacking threat. Let's get reaction from the goal scorer.
Kashima での初ゴールでチーム4連勝へ導きました。今のお気持ち聞かせてください。
自分自身本当苦しい時間を過ごしてきた中で、こういう勝ちにつながるゴールが取れたっていうのは、自分の中ですごく大きい1点になりました。
昨年夏に鹿島に来られていろんな思い今日まであったのではないですか。
そうですね。本当怪我ばっかりとかそういうのはなかなか、いいコンディションでサッカーできなかったっていうのは本当に苦しかったので、本当それが今日、実ったっていうのはすごく嬉しいです。
ゴールシーン振り返っていただけますか。
まず僕が落としてジャッキーに、でその後、優馬君につないで、でコウキ君に最後つながって。